Have fun.
All right. Listen, we had this. We've had all of you guys in the past also. It's not like it's the only time. Doing some of these guys filter in. Over here, no one's filtering in. All right, whatever. Okay, fine. We'll let this come back and start. Okay, ready? Let's go. All right. All right, fine. Let's go. Vaikach Korach. Yeah. We'll try to do everything within about a half hour or so. When we get to it, when is it? Vaikach Korach ben Yitzhak ben Kas ben Levi. Korach took and Dasan and Aviram and then Ben Pelas. Obviously, everyone has to have his kasha. What did he take exactly? Rashi, different shatim, fine. Vaikum with the Moshe and Nashim Nesachim Nishim Zaim and they're doing Nisei Moed, create Nisei Eda, create Moed Anshe Shem. So what do you have? You have Korach, Dasan, Aviram, On, Korach, On, 4, and 250. Now, obviously, these 4 were the leaders. Korach was a leader. Even Dasan, Aviram, and On also might have been different because they have 250 not even mentioned in the names. However, we do know that they are Anshe Shem. They're all people who are noteworthy, all Chashuv people. Okay, so fine. Okay, let's go through a quick story with the questions. Usual. Vayikalu, and they gathered together against Moshe and Aaron, and they said to them, Rav lachem, it's enough. Ki kol ha'ida kulam kadoshim uvesochem Hashem. The whole congregation is holy, and Hashem is with all of them. Umadutis nasu al kal Hashem. So why are you lifting yourselves over the congregation of God? That is their claim. Kol ha'ida kulam kadosh. Everyone's holy. Why making themselves special? That was the claim that he had.
Why weren't they more explicit about what they wanted? Like, it's obvious Korach wanted the Kuna. Why
he didn't say, it's also, he went over, right, okay. I mean, is this clear enough? Not clear enough? Okay, Vayishma Moshe, let's see. Vayishma Moshe, Vayipal Panav, Moshe falls. He's getting, he's already the 4th, whatever, 10 times problems have happened. Vaydara Korach, when he says, in the morning Hashem will show who is his, Vesa Kadosh, and who's holy, and he'll bring close to him. And the one he chooses, he'll bring close to him. So do which is a hint. Okay, we'll see. Therefore, do the following. Everyone should take a pen, put ketoris in it, and ever make the incense. Ketoris is one of the precious, one of the tichaviv type of avodas. You want to be kohanim? Fine. So you can be kohanim. Everyone bring the ketoris, and the one that Hashem chooses, he will be sanctified, meaning the rest will be lost. It's a warning over here. Rav lachem b'nei Levi. He wants Levi not to follow Korach's idea. Korach's a Levi. Vayom Moshe el Korach. Shimon b'nei Levi. This is obvious kasha over here. Having pasuk 8. Moshe says to Korach, listen b'nei Levi. Who's he talking to? Korach or b'nei Levi? When was it last year?
Yeah.
You weren't here last year. No.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Okay. Vayom Moshe el Korach. And then he turns to Levi. So what does Rashi say?
He wasn't listening.
He wasn't listening. He started talking to Korach, so Korach don't talk to. And the Midrash says that Korach even said that Moshe is a Chacham Gadol, and if I start talking to him, he'll outdo me. So he wasn't having conversations. So when he saw no one to talk to, he turned towards Bnei Levi. This dumb thing. So if someone's causing trouble, right? When when Uncle Saul and Sally come over for dinner, and but might say if there's no one to talk to, you can't talk. That's a klal. The guy's listening. You got one to have a conversation, and it's fine. But if they're not listening to you, if there's no one to talk to, they're saying their point, and you start talking, and they're not responding. So then you're wasting your time. So that's how you turn to Bnei Levi. It's not enough. He says Bnei Levi. It's not enough that Hashem already sanctified you. They gave you Leviah. You're Levim. You want to become also Kohanim. Okay, fine. When I say you and your congregation only against God, it's got nothing to do with Aaron. Aaron's appointed. You're fighting with God's appointing, not Aaron himself. Vayishlach pasuk 12. Vayishlach Moshe. He sends for Dasan and Aviram to come to him, tries to make shalom with them, try to work it out with them, and they said also, we're not going. And again, you know what to talk to. Lo nala, we're not going to go up. Okay, everyone understands the implication of that one. Then it says, unbelievable pasuk. This is great. It's not enough you took us out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the desert. You also become greater than us. How's that for chutzpah? Saying, took us out of a land flowing with milk and honey. Okay. Fine, did not bring us to the land flowing with milk and honey, rather you kill us in the desert. Fine, we're not going. Vayichel Moshe ma'od, vayomer el Hashem. You can say davens. Okay, he says, everyone come tomorrow, bring your pens. Tomorrow you'll do it. He's hoping overnight they will regret. A whole night, Korach was going around getting everyone, and by the morning already, people were wondering, maybe it's a good idea to do. Vayakelem, Korach is Kol Ha'ida, Pesach Al Moed, and the next day, God appears to the people. Alright, Vaydaber Hashem and Moshe, let's want to go a little bit further, and then we'll go back and deal with the questions and everything. Vaydaber Hashem, Moshe, Aaron, Lewa. Hashem says, step away, I'm going to destroy them. When they daven, one man is causing the problems. That's what the Raman says, that's the leaders of Klal Yisrael, sometimes they do that. It says one person who's causing a problem, so even though they're maybe all guilty of following, but you go after the target, go after the guy who's causing the problem, and leave everyone else alone, they're just followers. You go after the top guy. I don't know if that's shaykh, because over there is, I don't know. But it's turning over here, Korach was the one who was leading it, he was Pasha, the guy behind it, so they're davening, you say, why are you davening for Korach? I mean, you couldn't daven for Korach. But at least now you know that God have mercy on everybody else. It's just Korach's the problem, so, but not the other ones, they're just followers. And certainly not the rest of the nation who are all, not all, but whoever's following of the bulk of people, besides 250, a lot of Klal Yisrael are sort of following to see what's going to happen. So he says it's a way of sort of taking blame off the cloud, putting it on the individual. Vaydaber Shel Moshe, Daber El Ha'ida, tell the people to step away from the tents of Korach, Dasan, and Aviram. And Moshe goes to them. He said for them they didn't want to come, so he went to them now. And Ziknei Yisrael are going with. And he says to everyone, move away, Acharei, because they came when they weren't interested in responding again. Suruna, remove yourselves from the tents of these wicked people and don't touch anything that is theirs, lest you be swept into it. And then everyone backed off. And Dasan and Aviram stood outside with them and their children and their infants and their wives and everything they have. And Moshe says, "Bezos teidun ki Hashem shlachan." With this you'll know that Hashem sent me to do all these things. It's not my own. If they die like regular, people come to visit them, they get sick and they get old and they die, God didn't send me. But if God makes a new creation where the land opens up and swallows them and they go down alive to Gehenna, you'll know that these people have angered God. He finishes speaking, the land opened up and it swallowed them and everything they have, all their family, actually being said over here, that even the infants, everything, right? Machlokas consumes everybody. Vayerdi, they all go down to Sheolah, to go to Gehenna, to the grave, whatever it is, and the land covers them up. It wasn't only an earthquake; it covered them up afterwards. They were gone. Okay, then a fire came down and consumed the 250 followers. All right, that's the basic element. Just a lot of things to talk about, but I'm not sure how much we're talking about. Try to stick to the major storyline over here. Okay, what were the obvious kashas over here? Just two or three of the main questions.
Well, what were they thinking?
What were they thinking challenging Moshe?
Challenging God.
Challenging God. What else?
What exactly is the challenge? They
Well,
say
let's say-
who says better. Like, what does that mean? Like,
Well, let's say the challenging Aaron's kahuna. Pashas of the Psukim. Bikashtim gam kahuna, they were challenging Aaron's kahuna.
so if they're challenging Aaron's Korah, why are they challenging Moshe? Why are they challenging?
Well, Moshe appointed Aaron. Aaron was just following. That's interesting, by the way. What was Aaron's role in this whole thing?
Just being put.
No, I mean, you got the coordinates day. Could be it also. Yeah, but I'm saying he was not an active role. He's not an active player. The man says in his humility, he stepped to the side. It's almost like Taka, Korach is more worthy than me. He was willing to step down. That's what God chose me, so I have to do it. But otherwise, I wouldn't do it. So he wasn't involved in the whole thing.
Didn't we say that he felt bad that he wasn't part of like being part of?
That was Chanukas on his Be'ach. Yeah.
So like he kind of wants the position in a sense.
Not the position. He wants his shevet to have a chelik in it. Because Levi, the Levim wanted him to chelik in it.
Why was it Keturah of all things? Because it was.
Okay, why Keturahs? Rashi says it was the most dear of all the things. You find the Rashi Gemara says that.
So why is it Moshe says something if I'm
Okay, so why
like,
this
this is a weird.
Okay, fine, we'll get back to that. Okay, two things there. Yeah, first of all, why the condition? If it's like this and this, if not like that. And also, what kind of death is this exactly? It's like weird. I'd be more impressed with lightning. I don't know. It sounds like a weird thing. Okay, fine. There's the biggest kasha though. Biggest kasha, which is steer and chumash. Kasha on God. The biggest kasha in the story is the kasha on God.
Why are some people in this?
Oh, kasha.
Why are they still alive? Like why are they worthy to get the man and see Har Sinai and
It's not a kasha on
all
God.
this. Why?
It's a kasha on God. It's a kasha on God.
Doesn't shouldn't they have stayed in Mitzrayim?
That's a kasha of a long time. We dealt with that a while ago. We dealt with that a while ago. No, the kasha on God is. What are they saying over here? What's the machlokas? Just get the very, very basic machlokas.
Why did God choose them and not us?
Okay, who said God chose Aaron and not us?
You're saying that's the question?
No, I'm asking you. Who said that God chose Aaron and not them? Not Korach, what Moshe did? Okay, ask the kasha. This shouldn't take that long.
Why don't they believe Moshe?
Not why, it's kasha, not a why. A kasha, problem.
How can they refute that?
Meaning, back it up.
Meaning they believe Moshe up until now. They believe Moshe about everything else.
Make it a kasha, a
Hashem,
star kasha.
Hashem appointed Moshe. Hashem said whatever Moshe says, you listen. So if Hashem said that, how can they say that what Moshe said is wrong?
Okay, fine. Ma'amar Har Sinai. Also, there's 2 points in Ma'amar Har Sinai, right? One point in Ma'amar Har Sinai was that we all saw God, number one. Number two, we saw Moshe the prophet. And that's why it said in the beginning, if you go back to Yisro, the pasuk says, God says to Moshe, I'm going to come to you, they're all going to hear me talk to you, they're all going to believe in you forever. Because if you don't fortify as Moshe as a prophet, then we still have to, what does God say? And maybe Moshe is making stuff up, I don't know. Moshe has to be, unless we get everything directly from God, which people didn't want to do. They want to go through to a person, so Moshe is a person. So they all had to see, without any question, with total clarity, God exists, Moshe is the prophet. We're going to do it. Otherwise, when Moshe gives Torah, he knows it's coming from God. So those are 2 things that happen in Ma'amar Har Sinai. V'gam b'chaya min al-olam. The pasuk says this is going to happen, and they're going to believe in you forever. So how long was forever? A year? I mean, what happened? It's the same generation. You want to tell me now? These people doubt. Okay, whatever. People wanted, that goes to what we studied for. Anybody has kashas on Judaism? Anybody? Most people they're interested in talking for real. So you don't talk to them. Don't talk to. Have a nice life. Oh, right. Missionaries. No one talking to. Fine. Have a nice life. Not understood. But for them, they were there. How could Korach and then Korach, Dasan and Aviram own 250 who are all great people, and the whole lady's gathering. I don't know how many members of Klaisel are joining the group. How could they're all challenging Moshe? They just saw the Har Sinai. The pasuk says "V'gam b'chayim l'olam." How can they challenge Moshe? Yeah.
Well, there's something else. Like, should they have learned from the Rabbanim that not to mess with Hashem? Because
the lesson.
What?
So the emes is okay. So let's pull the thing together. First of all, why was Korach bothered? Rashi says the roots of Korach's problem was what? What does Rashi say? What was the root of the problem? The emes. The root of it was Gaiva. The root of it was Gaiva. And how much did Korach realize it? I don't know. But God's telling us that's the root. Now, while Korach was having this, he was having Ruach HaKodesh. At the same time, he's having prophecy. So he couldn't be too clear, too overt. I'm saying, couldn't be too.
So how can we get he's
so something in the root of it. That's what God, the pasuk is telling us. At the core of the problem was Gaiva.
He was worthy. He was.
Perhaps he was worthy. I don't know.
Don't they say that
He was certainly up. He was having Rashi brings. He was having Ruach Kodesh at the time while this was going on.
Don't they say that he knew the secrets behind Korach?
Who?
Or something like that.
I don't-
He knew
I don't
the
know, but it
reason behind the whole chok of Korach.
Duma? I don't remember.
I think it was right.
Could be. I don't remember. There's what job did Korach have?
The shir.
What was his job?
Singing the.
I mean, what was?
He was part of Chaos.
Mitone ha'aron. He was one of the 4 that carried the aron.
So we're talking about someone really.
Right. So now we're talking about the top of the top. He didn't tell him he was carrying the aron.
Right.
So I'm saying, well, we're talking about the great person over here. The 250 followers are all great people.
How do you know they were good people?
Sounds like that. Pasuk says it. The Siyada, creating mode, and shame. So there's a lot of titles over here.
So does that mean Dasan and Aviram are also great people? Or
I don't
he
know.
knew that he should grab.
I don't know. I told you. Dasan very confused me. I don't have a clarity in Dasan Aviram stat. Yes, why? I don't know. I don't know. I can't. Don't know. I'm going to tell you Dasan Aviram. I'm not sure. I'm going to ignore them because I don't know what to do with them. The Korach and 250 unben Pelas, by the way, was saved because it says his wife uncovered her hair, and then the shluchim went from Korach and that to go get On. His wife gave him some wine, put him to sleep, and she sat outside the tent with her hair uncovered. And as they came, they wouldn't go near her because her hair was uncovered. They ran back. Can't go there. So the whole thing was over. I'm saying she saved his life. Then I'm saying Korach's wife ruined him, On's wife saved him. Because Korach's wife is the one who was pushing him also. Interesting where the Midrash contrast the two. Okay.
One wife that's good, one wife that's bad, but even not.
Alright. Now they gathered together. What was their claim against Moshe and Aaron? It's an unbelievable thing. Look, it says the Midrash says an unbelievable thing. Just to add one more question to it. The Midrash says that when Moshe said to them, if they die like normal, etc., then God didn't send me. But if died in another way, ground up purpose follows them, then he knows it's not from me, it's from God. Okay. The Midrash says, on those words, if they die like normal, people come to visit them, they die of old age, whatever, then Hashem didn't send me. Who's saying that? Moshe saying that. If they die like normal, all say God didn't send me. You doubting yourself? If they die like normal, even all say God didn't send me.
What does it mean die like normal? They go on and they continue having the machlokas?
Hashem already appointed him.
I'm saying just makes the question worse.
No, but also
So it's a fake. It's like stem a line.
Why would he
Midrash
say
says,
that?
then also they're saying that if that happens, I'll agree with you. That I thought God didn't send me. What does that mean? No, then it's kind of just a line throughout. It's a little weird. Moshe's going to give an exaggeration.
Change his mind. Hashem maybe change his mind.
What is that? It's getting worse. God doesn't change minds. Yeah.
Also, why does he say if they grow old? That means if they grow old, that means they're not going to die the next day and they're going to continue having this machlokas. That doesn't mean die old.
I mean, if they don't, the Pasha says like that if they don't die now and they have a normal life like everyone else,
So then that just makes the
that'll be a raya that I'm wrong.
and then Moshe will step aside.
That's the kasha. How can Moshe himself say? Also say God didn't send me. Okay, so let's keep the Malcolm over here. Let's clarify first of all who the people were. Korach is coming. We said the root of the Korach's problem was gaiva. Why was it gaiva? Because he wanted, because of one of the other Litzafan ben Parnach, one of the others was appointed as a leader. Litzafan Uziel was appointed as a leader, and Korach felt that he jumped over me, whatever reason. I guess he was more worthy, and therefore he felt that he was appointed instead of Korach himself. Once he saw that, he said, "I should have been appointed that job, not him, that position." And Mela, I'm going to everything he does. Okay, let's go get everything now. Just demolish the whole structure. Now,
who said this?
That's the Korach's thinking. That was the root of the Korach's thing. What bothered Korach, what was pushing him, was the fact that this other person got the job instead of him. Now, what does it mean to become a leader of Klal Yisrael back then? Another view. It's fascinating. You'll find that what he did. I mean, Nadav Nevi also said that. Nadav Nevi said they died for that also. But Nadav Nevi said, when is Moshe and Aaron going to die? We'll take over. So if they're in it for Stam the Gaiva, and for the covet, they wouldn't be the next line. They would not talk next in line. They were the greatest generation besides Moshe and Aaron, Nadav Nevi, and he still said that. So I'm saying, what's
It's a closer relationship.
The shot is the higher you are, like with the Sanhedrin, when they got appointed, they all got prophecy. When Shlomo became king, he got prophecy. When you become an elevated status, you get prophecy. You get a higher level. You get presence. God gives you extra stuff to run the country, to run the nation. So mainly, you will automatically get a higher level. So it's not looking for cover. You walk in, people stand up for you. It's not the goal. The goal is that you get closer to God. But a way of getting closer to God is be someone who's running the tzibur. With it comes certain presence from God. So that's what they wanted. So that's one thing. Now, Vayishma, he says to them, what was his claim to them? And yet the 250. What were the 250 doing there? The 250, the Shlosh says, were firstborns. So what are they coming for? Because the whole thing was, what are they fighting over? They're fighting over closeness to God. They're not fighting over money. They're not fighting over stump, petty honor, and they're not fighting over taiva. They're fighting over closeness to God. Korach wants to be up there also. And the people are saying, and he said, come on, we can, and he has a claim, which we'll get to in a minute. They should all be Kohanim. Everyone should be Kohanim. Why is he the Kohen Gadol? Kulam Kedoshim. So the people at Takaseg, the 250 over there, we're Bechor. We had it, we lost it because of Chet Egel. We'll do tshuva, we'll get it back. If we show God how much we want it, how much we want to be close to God, how much we want to be the Kohanim over here, how much it means to us, maybe Taka will see that God, will give it back to us. Maybe we'll earn it back. We had it, we lost it. We'll show God how crucial it is to us and how much we want it. Maybe we'll get it back. The 250 were L'Shem Shemayim Mamish. They were faulted for going with Korach, who ultimately, in the roots of it, wasn't. Outwardly claimed like he was, but again, in the roots he wasn't. They followed, whatever. But L'maisa, Tuvitu L'Shem Shemayim. Okay, now what's his claim? Rashi brings, the Medrash brings a few other machlokas in there, a few other things that he had over there. He said to Moshe, if you have a room, a house, full of Sifrei Torah, do you require mezuzah or not require mezuzah? So Moshe says, needs a mezuzah. So I understand. If you have nothing in the room, one of the parchment is good enough. If I have 100 Sifrei Torah, all of them have mezuzahs in them, so it's not good enough. If nothing is there, one parchment works. So if I have 200 Sifrei Torah in them, it doesn't work. He has to have a talis shekulat tchelis. If you have talis, the whole thing is tchelis. It requires strings or not?
Meaning the strings themselves are blue, or
no, the clothing itself. The whole thing is made of blue. You require a psul tchelis on the corner for the tzitzis or not? He says you need it. I don't understand. If it's a white string, white clothing, one string patters. So if you have the whole thing, it's kulat tchelis. You have 100 strings here. Now, is that right or wrong to do that?
Wrong.
Who else did this? Basically, what is he doing? This is where Weinberg and Salvador Chief in Baltimore explained it. It's public shot. What was he doing over here?
Excuse.
What's he doing over here? What is he challenging and what is not challenging?
Challenging the Svara of Moshe.
He's challenging Moshe's application of the halacha. He's not challenging the nevuah. The fact that Moshe is a prophet is not being challenged, but they'll never be challenged. What are you challenging? How do you apply it? When do you have to have one string of tcheles? When the entire talis is white. When do you have to have one mezuzah on the door and have nothing in the room? But if you have a house full of Sifrei Torah, if you have a talis shekulat tcheles, the whole thing is made of tcheles, in that case you don't need a string. It's an application of the halacha. Who else did this with Moshe?
Korach. Yitro.
You don't find him. Okay, and this is with the Sanhedrin. Who else? Think with something else.
Aaron. With the. He said, "You're right. I shouldn't."
Right.
Do this.
So Aaron also. They were a question of which one do we burn. Moshe got upset. He said, "Why did you burn? I told you to eat." He said, "No, the only one told you to eat are the ones that have no gear for the Chanukah Zunveah. The one for the Chodesh." Haytav b'nei Hashem, and what happened? Moshe said, "Haytav b'nei." You're right. So I understand. Why is Korach different than Aaron? If Aaron could challenge Moshe's Torah Sheba'al Peh application of the Torah Shebechsav, Nevuah, he's not challenging. That's clear, and that's Gam Machamin L'Olam, no one's ever challenging Moshe's prophecy. Elamai, Torah Sheba'al Peh application, you could challenge. So if Aaron could do it, and there he's praised for it, and Moshe agrees, and then in fact over there it says that he put a letter, he sent a notice all over the Klal Yisrael, that I said the wrong halacha and my brother corrected me. That's okay. So why is Korach different? It's the same halachos.
Can we say that Aaron and Moshe were someone of the same level?
Tom and Chaver.
Yeah.
Sure. And here Mamish wasn't. You can't argue. You can't. That's what makes it so bad. That's so great and so bad because he wasn't Mamish on the level to argue. He wasn't up to Paro. Nemesis. He's claimed that he is worthy of being coined, like Aaron. So we're talking already within very fine levels over here. He was Matani Aaron. I'm saying he was a Levi who felt he was worthy of kahuna. I'm not talking that far off. What's the difference between the two of them? So the roots of it is different, because here the roots of it are kaiva, and over there the roots are kedusha, are pure. But again, maybe it's deep down. But where do you see it's wrong? Where do you see that Korach is wrong? Where do you see a difference between Aaron and Korach?
The way they asked it, the way they...
By not accepting what Hashem said.
So there's a response. What would have been if Moshe said to Aaron, no, the halakha is like this? What would have Aaron done?
Killed, I don't know.
If Moshe would have told him, no, the halakha is this halakha, this is kachibalti.
We went to God.
What?
We went to God.
No,
Aaron would never gone to God.
Would have accepted.
Would have accepted it. Moshe ultimately is the teacher. Even if you want to tell me that Aaron is a Talmud Chaver, Moshe is the Rebbe. That's Pashut. He's the master. So, Aaron, machlokes. Okay, but if Moshe would have said, no, this is the halakha. Now we're going to be, that's the halakha. Kachibalti, that's the halakha. Aaron stepped down. Over here, he agreed. Now, over there, and over here, Moshe goes also to talk to him. So what's Korach do? He avoids it. Vayom Moshe el Korach. Korach walks off. That's already a problem. Once Moshe said to him, no, you're wrong, that's the halacha. Kach kivalti, that's the halacha. So then Korach should have stepped down. If it would have been Mamash L'Shem Shemayim, once you see, you could have a good svara, very nice. But Lamaisi, you see the Rebbe argues. He disagrees with you. He said, step down. Even Moshe ben. So even a student, you could challenge a Rebbe, you can ask kashas in a Rebbe. But if Lamaisa, the Rebbe said, no, this is the halacha, this is the halacha, despite your logic, or we'll have it out, so to speak, we'll argue it, but the bottom line, and you don't want to listen, you're not interested in having it out, no, I think it's different than walk off, that's already, what are you walking off for? If you want to have it out, let's have it out, we'll argue it, L'Shem Shemayim, we'll have machlokas, what's wrong with that? Why are you walking out of the beis medrash? So that means you don't want to talk, there's a problem. That already showed there's a problem with Korach's approach. But that was his challenge of Moshe. He's not saying that Moshe's appointment of the Kohen Gadol was wrong. It was an application. When do you have to have a mezuzah? When the house is empty. When you have mali svarim, you don't need a mezuzah. When do you have to have a psil tcheles? When the clothing is white. When the clothing is kulot tcheles, you don't need a string. When do you have to have a Kohen Gadol over everyone else? When everyone else is mundane. When everyone else is regular. But over here, we all saw Ma'amad Har Sinai. We're all Levinim. Kol ha'ida kulam kedoshim. We all have prophecies beyond any prophecy ever. Our generation, now you don't need Aaron over everybody else. We're all holy. We can all be Kohanim. Later in generations, okay, it'll be different. But our generation, Kol ha'ida kulam kedoshim here. It's like a house full of svarim. We're all full. It doesn't apply to us. That was his challenge. It's not challenging his nevuah. So that could be, and this is, hypothetically, Moshe could argue in that. Maybe hypothetically Moshe could be wrong, like over there with Aaron. I understand it differently. If you're right, I'll step down. I made a wrong psak over here. If it came out that they die now normal, I'll say also God didn't send me. This is a wrong psak. Now the Korach learns a little differently. The Korach learns, I'll put this in also, the Korach learns that he knows that Moshe told Aaron to be the Kohen Gadol because of God, through God. But why did God pick Aaron? That's how the Korach learns.
He wanted it.
Because Moshe wants it. God saw that in the roots deep down in Moshe's heart. He wished Aaron could be, but Sonny Rav Yaseh. Moshe, you want, I'll do it for you. But had you, Moshe, been 100% clean, it wouldn't have happened. That was wrong. And that's also, you could say the same thing. Lo Hashem shlachani. I'll see the taka deep down there wasn't a leaning towards Aaron. And therefore God picked Aaron, not because he was objectively worthy, but because I wanted it and God listened.
So then why was he why by the sned was Hashem kind of getting with him and says, you've lost your brother and now Aaron has it? If deep down he wanted Aaron to, why is it a punishment? That
could be over here. Not back there. Even over there, I don't know, over there he wanted, over there was before he wanted Aaron to be, over there wasn't a question of Kona. Over there he wanted Mefurish
to be the leader.
For Aaron to be the leader.
And then he became
Right. There was not your, I guess he had to be it. I guess it was your job. God was not willing to take the leadership away from Moshe to give to Aaron over there. Okay, now the 250 though, they're going to L'Shem Shemayim. Maybe Taka will become Kohanim again. So they come the next day. Now what happens to them? Two things happens. Korach gets swallowed. The 250 get burnt. The Medrash says Korach got burnt and swallowed. But what's the pshat in Korach? Let's go based on Psukim. Tell us Korach got swallowed. 250 get burnt. Korach got swallowed was a chesed of God. The fact that Korach's death happened like this was the greatest chesed God could have done for them. He was a great person. He blew it over here. Yet again, he made a mistake. His misjudgment or whatever it was a result of the deep feeling of gaiva, covered wherever he wanted, which was the Yitzhak. Okay, that was a problem. But God resulted in him being swallowed alive. Why is it the greatest chesed? Mamash the greatest chesed.
Let's say it wasn't proven explicitly to Bnei Israel that Korach was incorrect.
You could have a lightning strike. You could have a lightning strike. Let lightning strike. Why dafka like this? Let lightning strike down, Korach and everyone else around be not touched.
This is supernatural.
Oh, okay, you're saying.
Let's say Bnei Israel would have not believed Moshe 100%.
So do another miracle. I'm saying you could do another miracle. Do it. Lightning strike. Yeah, so make up another miracle. How it happened again?
No.
What's the shot?
No
death. That's the greatest thing. If he would have died, it's over. Elamai, God's up. You're going to Gehenna because you have to go to Gehenna now. However, I'll put you dead alive. And then it says, Gemara says, famous Gemara, Rabbi Chana, that he heard screaming from the ground, and he checked it, and it was a Gehenna, and he heard screaming. Moshe emes v'Srael emes v'Navadayim. Moshe is true, his Torah is true, we're the false ones. Every 30 days, they go through and they roast them like a pot roast, whatever, being roasted in the coils. That's the greatest chesed. That means they're still roasting 3,320 whatever years later.
They're alive.
But they're alive. Why is the greatest chesed?
Yeah.
Because when they're saying Moshe emes v'Srael emes, it's tshuva. I have tshuva, you can come back. Had they died, they would have had to go to Gehenna after death with no chance of tshuva, and they would never have come back, and that would have been it. Now, terrible suffering, 3,000 years, I'm not recommending it, but Lamaisa, when Mashiach comes, they're going to come back, and when they come back to who they were. They're back to Tony Aaron. Korach will be one of the Gedolei Hador when Mashiach comes, forever. Olam Vayed, Mashiach, Olam Haba, all that he has, he would have lost it. He would have had nothing. So he was able to maintain it. God kept him. You do tshuva for the next 3,000 years, horrible suffering, tshuva, Moshe emes every 30 days, but you have a chance for Olam Haba now. You'll get eternally, you'll still have.
So why didn't
All the greatness he's still going to get. He didn't lose it, he would have lost it.
What about the 250?
Also, we had to do, why did 250? 250 was L'Shem Shamayim. They didn't have to go to Gehenna with that. So what happened to them? What happened to them was the same thing that happened to not of you. They bought the Ketores, they were looking for greatness which they weren't ready for, they were supposed to get. And the type of death they got was a greatness where they got so close to God that Neshamas could not be retained within the body, so it means that the fire took them out of there. Just like Natan Avihu, their greatness achieved a death of closeness to God where they just couldn't stay in this world anymore, and Mela, the Neshamas left. That's what happened to 250. They died a great death. Hamav Salah Chasidav. Yakar B'nei Hashem, it's precious to God, their type of death. They almost earned it. They couldn't, they're not ready for that, they couldn't be in this world anymore. But they almost earned a highest level of death, so to speak. That's what they earned.
So there wasn't a punishment where they just couldn't...
Had they not done it, they could have stayed alive, had more mitzvahs maybe, could have gone further. They did this, they had to die. But the death they're going to have is going to be the greatest death you can get. Death is not nothing of you, type of death. So that's why those 250 are going to have that. Korach really got both. He got that, but he also got Gehenna, but Gehenna alive. But just now, the emes is according to what you said before, where she was shot, works very nicely. Because as Moshe emes v'Surasa emes, the dig is very good. Because what was he arguing on? Moshe's Torah, not God's Torah. Moshe's application of the halacha. That was the machlokas. So Moshe emes on his Torah is true. His learning was right. My learning was wrong, his learning was right. My Kal Vachomer wasn't true. Whatever the Pircha and Kal Vachomer was. So it fits very well. That was the deal with... Now, why that was the kasha that they asked the next day. That's what happened. The story right after this was Moshe says, take all the Ketores, put it in Zvech, whatever. Yeah. Hashem says to, the next day, very low the next day, Atem hamitem esam Hashem. You go to Moshe and Aaron. You killed the greatest of God. The 250 were great. At least them. Why'd they die? It's because of you. You killed them. And again, God comes down, separate us all. I'm going to destroy them, and they daven for them. So what was that about? The next day. So what's up? Because their kasha was your kasha. Why did you give them to the Ketor? You know how dangerous Ketoris is? Ketoris brings the person to the highest level. Ketoris was one of the things mentioned in the base of Mikdash that was not it was whatever this means for to tie everything together, kavod shamayim. That's what the Ketoris is. Not just a korban. So that level of kedusha, you knew this is going to happen. Not that in the Nevi'ah happened over there. So why, of all things, you tell them to be Ketoris? Tell them to do something else, and maybe this wouldn't have happened. Then they would have still been alive. So they're blaming Moshe and Aaron for telling them to do Ketoris. What's the response? A Magefa, and what happens? God says that Moshe tells Aaron, there's a Magefa, take the Ketoris, stop the Malach HaMavos. Everyone saw that the Ketor, you blame the Ketor, don't do the Ketoris. You see the Ketoris, you're blaming it as a powerful death, thing that killed none of you, killed 250 people. It's such a dangerous thing. You see here, it's going to save everyone's life. And the Ketoris stopped Malach HaMavos. The Ketoris has the power to stop Malach HaMavos. So the same power, it's a question of how you use it. So it's got to do with the Ketoris itself, got to do with the people. Over here, it saved the lives because of that. That was the response for it. Okay, just maybe a word about, okay. And other things, okay. Just want to say a word about...
So
Talk about the summer.
A word about machlokes. Two quick things about machlokes. Three things. I don't know if I have time for this. Normally, we go through the class on stories and stuff about machlokes, which we're all guilty of, but just to know about it. First, here's here. You see over here. It's interesting. Korach dies. Why? He goes down as history of Baal machlokes. Why not be Korach? So it wasn't. If you could say like this, Pshat, it was only Torah Shmuel Peh. It was machlokes and net. It wasn't really the. He goes down as the Baal machlokes when it says there should not be like Korach and his people. That's machlokes according to Rashi. It just means that there should not be, but according to other learn, Chafetz brings it that there's a lav deraisa. There should not be a Korach. A person who's a Baal machlokes who starts or ignites a fight not l'shem shemayim is violating a lav deraisa according to Chafetz Chaim. Lo yechad Korach l'chadaso.
That's like the Pergamos says.
Oh, so this just right. So maybe some quick things here. First of all, machlokes l'shem shemayim is not like this because the real machlokes pshat is I want what's in it for me. You want what's in it for you. We have different interests. Different interests. If I don't give it, you don't give it, not going to get anywhere, you're going to clash. That's machlokes not l'shem shemayim. It's never going to get resolved. That's what the Mishnah says. Machlokes not l'shem shemayim never gets resolved, right? But that's Korach as the example of that. But machlokes that is l'shem shemayim, hill of shamai, the pshat is we have the same interest. Our interest is what does God want. Now we disagree in the details. I think God wants A, you think God wants B, but our goal is the same. Also, we're not really arguing per se, because our goal is to get to the same nekuda. What does God want? That's our united goal. So we disagree how to get there. We disagree on what God wants us to do. But ultimately, we understand. So that's not really arguing anything. You really ultimately agree with each other. So that's machlokes. So at least because that could work out. That's the machlokes kind of the Mishnah. The
Shot in my Gemara. How's it machlokes?
We are disagreeing, but it's not. It's Soflis Kaim. You work it out at the end. Because our goals are ultimately we have the same goal. Just to be how to get there. So be'etzim we're not really disagreeing. Whereas if I want to be the king and you want to be the king, we're not going to get anywhere like that. One or two things about machlokes that I'll tell over quickly. I'll try to do it quickly. Try quickly. Start a little bit late. I'll tell you quickly for the next class. One of the things about the machlokes. One thing is I told you guys. I think I told you this, but I'll tell it again for other people. Rav Nissen Kaplan. Rav Nissen Kaplan, I heard it on a tape. Listen, Kaplan, I heard it on a recording on a tape, and then if you did it, he told a story. Tell you it's just very interesting. But it's also there's a lesson behind it. There was a certain machlokes. I don't know what it was. I was didn't tell any hints. There was certain machlokes between two groups of we're talking within the Frum Jews. Mamish. It's a great story. With two groups, whatever it was exactly, and it was really building up, and they didn't want to take each other to the cheder, and they're going to throw your kids out of our schools, and I don't know what was going to go on. It got really bad, and he wanted to end the machlokes. Well, he has a few more things to the story. His wife, he's made a phone call. His wife's down there, the whole time, and then he told him not to get involved. So he says, "I wait till she went to sleep," and I called him up, But he called one of the big guys, and so I said, he's in the middle of a meeting. He knew what the meeting was about. It was the middle of the night. So he called back half an hour later. He says, after his hill, speak to him. So he says, he's not available yet. So he says, tell him that a wealthy businessman from America, and I want to make a deal with him. There's a lot of money, and might want to, hear that. So he sings, he says, oh, come down to the certain house and where they're having a meeting. So he goes down in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning. He goes down there and he walks into the room. The guy, he knows who he is. He goes, I know who you are. You're not a wealthy businessman. He goes, he said he had a lot of mice money, a lot of cash in the house. Took everything he had in the house. He took the money, he dumped it on the cash, dumped it on the table. What's pshat? He said he looked into the machlokes at the nekuda, what was the starting point of the machlokes? And the whole machlokes that was l'shem shemayim, the roots of the machlokes was about money. Whatever, he didn't say how much it was, whatever it was. But that was the roots of the whole thing. It all built up. It got into, all of a sudden you're not frum enough, and all of a sudden I'm not, you're Mechal Shabbos, I'm not Bikoros, and everything else, and the whole machlokes, l'shem shemayim, not l'shem shemayim, Gornish was about money. That was the roots of the problem. So once he chapped that, he went down there, he dumped the money on the table, a pile of money. He said to him, I want to buy the machlokes. Buy the machlokes. You take the cash, the machlokes is now mine. One more word starting tomorrow morning from anybody, all the money comes back to me. Machlokes is over. That was it, the end of the machlokes. a lot of times machlokas that we have, forget other people, it's easy to do with other people. Meaning to say, look at him, oh, they're not really arguing with that. Really, he's arguing because he was upset because someone took his place, cut him in line, whatever it was. But sometimes for us it's hard sometimes. You have to realize ourselves, when we're in a disagreement with someone, sometimes we can't pinpoint what it is, you have to take a minute, if it's quote unquote L'Shem Shemaim, and really look into it. Is it really L'Shem Shemaim, or was it my covenant that was slighted, that I'm bothered by? Or was it the money I should have gotten, or was it the position I should have received, or was it the whatever else that I feel was coming to me, or should have gotten, or lost, or insulted, or embarrassed, whatever it was, and that's really what's stemming it. And that's what you have to, just a person has to, very hard sometimes, you have to ideally look into the core, what is the roots of the problem we're having. The other thing, I'll tell you a quick story, I'll end with this, with Machlokas, I read the story at least twice, once recently. There was a family in Iraq, whatever it was, they got married, and a few days before the wedding, the two fathers of the Chassan Kala went to the hall to pay the check, whatever, and the father of the groom, whatever it was, they took a look. So they saw that many when things went up the way they really wanted it. So the other guy thought he was going to put up a fight. Look, we ordered X, Y, and Z. You gave us ABC. We said like this, you did like that. It wasn't. And the guy said nothing. He wanted his check, the full check, full amount. Gave to, shook his head. He said, it's not exactly what we ordered, but you deserve the money anyway. And he gave it, and he shook his head. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the, They walked out. The other guy, his future, shver, what it's called, Chutin, said to him, he said, so easily you just gave him like that? Yeah. Say something to him. He said, not only that, but you thanked him for it. He says, at the Shev Brachas you'll understand. Okay? Things are nothing. Come and shout at Shev Brachas, and the father wants to speak. So he gets up, and he says, I want to tell you a little background. And this was a story apparently most of his own family didn't hear. The other side for sure never heard. And he said, you go back however many years, and there was a village in Europe, and there was a person, he says, my father was in Europe, in a certain village, whatever the village was, whatever city, Poland, whatever it was, and he realized one day he gets up and he sees the pigeons, is not very chicken coop, hundreds of chickens, something's not right. He starts counting them up, he realizes he's missing. So he thought maybe a wolf came from the forest. I don't know. Be a washout. Be careful. It doesn't see any blood. It's not fine. Next night, whatever. Next day he goes again. He's more missing. And then there's no signs of a struggle. There's no blood anywhere. No pieces of the chickens. It's a thief. So he realizes he's gonna hide and catch the thief. So he stands the next night, and sure enough he sees a big guy with a coat, walks into the thing, starts picking chickens up. Takes a look at his next door neighbor. And he turns white. So we're friends, our wives are friends for years, our kids play together in the backyard. He sits next to me in shul, he's like distraught. If it would have been some Russia, some goy, some I don't know, he felt, he was like, he's speechless. The guy walked off with his stuff. He went home, he's crying. So I was like, what's happening? He can't even speak. He's like a wreck. He's like, how could, years, we're friends for years. I was like, if he's having trouble, he could have come for a loan, I would have helped him. He's embarrassed to come for a loan, he's not embarrassed to steal my chickens. He was like smamish the whole night. He's like, I'll tell you, I'm not going to talk to him in the shul. Tomorrow morning he's going to come to me. Hi, how you doing? Good morning, davening. I can't talk to him. He says, I don't know what to do. He says, it's going to come out. He's going to be back. I know. He was like mamish the whole night. So the whole night he's crying. His wife finds out. So by towards morning, his wife's like, we have no choice. We have to leave. What are you talking about? Leave? In Europe, it was really it's not like nowadays, okay, we'll call a moving truck and we'll fly somewhere else. It doesn't work that way. You're born and bred and raised for 5 generations in the same house, in the same neighborhood. What do you mean leave? Go where? We're going to go to America. Well, now I think your mama's off the wall. You don't plan it. So we have no choice. If you stay, what's going to happen. There's going to be a big fight in the city, it'll be machlokas. We're not doing it, we're leaving. And they decided we're leaving the city. Next morning he goes to shul, he tells them we decided we're moving. I hear they're moving, what is going on? I don't know, maybe if cousins, rumors start to spread, they have uncles in America, they have this, they have that. So they sell everything they have, they sell the house, the chickens, everything gets sold, they pack up the bags, and very short they buy a ticket, very quickly. They want to get out before the new site takes over. And to avoid a fight, they packed out, sold everything, and wandered to no man's land called America. Fine. They get on the boat, and on the boat, they didn't hear the news of what happened in Europe. And a short while later, there was the Germans moved in, and the village was taken. And they were on one of the last boats out before they closed it. Before they closed the Gemara. So my father was saved because he avoided machlokas. That was a lesson that he said. And because of a hall, the menu, when we make a fight, this is no machlokas. That was his legacy. Okay, we should be zocheh to live up to that. All right. No, you should have to save that. I'll tell you very well.
I don't know how to do it.
I'll tell you all people what to say. This is all super.
This may take us some.
Hello?
Just close it.